Welcome to Chocolate Cake for the Soul, a space to return to your truth, awaken your energy, and leave with deeper clarity. I'm Dewi, and I'm here to hold gentle yet powerful conversation on healing, intuition, and the unseen energy that shape our lives. Whether you're building a soulful business, navigating your inner wounds, or simply learning to trust your intuition again, you're exactly where you need to be. So find your favorite cozy corner and take a bite of chocolate cake for the soul together. Hey, can you say your name a few times? Your full birth name and your nickname.
Full name?
My nickname?
So I'm seeing you vibrating in yellows and reds. I see that the red is more of your family energy and you yourself is more vibrating in the yellow, a little bit of orange but more yellowish. I'm gonna do a gold with a yellow strip on top. And I'm also setting our communication bubble at a peach with a blue communication rose. Okay, go ahead. What is your question?
My question is, I find it hard for me to express myself, especially expressing my emotion. I usually choose not to express it that much, and I want to explore why I'm functioning like that.
So, as I was watching your energy when you asked that question, the first thing that I noticed lighting up is your second chakra, which is your emotion space. So that's just slightly below the belly button. As you were saying that out loud, I saw there were some energies there. It was lighting up. And the first emotion that I noticed was, or the energy that stirred up was number one, shame. And there are some childhood or inner child pictures that I see. It could be from this lifetime or it could be from other lifetimes. But the picture was around seeing you as a little child and you were told it's like if you express too much, it's not good. And there's a lot of shame energy in expressing too much. And it comes from, I see a very strong, like a male figure, like a very masculine energy and male figure. And with that also, I see there are some, I would call it punishment energy, even though not necessarily you're actually punished per se, but the energy is as such. So I see that stirring up in your second, and the color wise, it's a purple. So I see that every time now in present time, when you try to express yourself, these pictures get triggered, and then it sends a signal to yourself that it's not safe or it's not okay to do so. So then you retreat back. Does any of this make sense?
Yeah. So I usually find it that if there's an argument or there's a misunderstanding in some events, I find it that as a default I will choose peace
Yeah.
instead of the hard way. So is it the same issue that, or is it the same reason that at the first time I find it hard to express my emotion? Is it the same cause?
Okay, very, very interesting question. So when I look at this question in a rose, and the rose is just a symbol. When I look at this question, I see that the energy is similar, but not quite the same. So I'm seeing this vibrating more in a green. And what I see here is the image of, it's like this belief that by keeping the peace, so not speaking out your truth, is better. And that, if I see the deeper picture behind it, it's more of around, there's a fear, maybe fear is not the right word, but there's a resistance to confrontation because confrontation means lack of peace, and lack of peace is not good. And so the default is just to retreat. And there are some truth in that. There are some arguments that does not need to be argued to keep the peace. But there are also times where I think you already know, like those peaceful times, like the things that doesn't need to be said, so you don't say it. I think that part you're clear. You don't have an issue with that. The issue is when you're not able to express yourself to fully stand and ground your truth. I think that's what you were more referring to. So in the case of that, I'm seeing it's more of like this fear of if you confront and if you put your foot down and draw your boundaries, then this will lead to loss, maybe loss of love, loss of connection, loss of trust, which then becomes like an inner pain to you. It becomes like a fear to you, if that makes sense. So it's more of the second part that I think you're referring to, not the first one. Because the first one, I think, there are some arguments that doesn't need to be won, and that's fine. You can keep the peace. But then the second part is more like, yeah, but I need to be able to stand my ground. I need to be able to speak out my truth, because if not, then like a piece of me keeps dying inside, because you keep neglecting, and it becomes a void, and then it piles up, and then this becomes an issue in the long
Makes sense.
term. I think that's what you're more referring to. So it's that fear of losing the connection, losing the, like, if you finally put your foot down, what if they don't accept me for who I am? Is that fear.
Okay.
And that stems from early childhood programming as well.
But it's not from the same cause.
It's not quite the same. Similar, but not quite the same.
I see. So
Yeah.
what can I do to improve to be better version of myself?
So the root of all this I see is the fear of losing that love and that connection. So it's by number one, breaking that lie. It is a lie. Just because you speak your truth doesn't mean that you will lose someone, right? And if, even though when you speak your truth and you draw your boundaries and you end up losing that someone, then maybe that someone isn't the right one anyway. So I think it's understanding that truth and really busting through the lies. And then second part I see is to point that arrow that is seeking love from the outside, to pointing it inwards, and that the thing, you might lose a connection, but you will definitely gain a deeper connection with yourself, and a deeper love, and a deeper trust, and a deeper respect for yourself. And that by itself is already growth. And once you start choosing yourself, then you will attract the right people, the right connections, the right relationships, the right love, whatever it may look like. That's when the real magic happens, is when you start to choose yourself.
I see. So can I make peace, or the theory that you suggest me, I think it is very practical, but if the core issue is from my inner child, can it be healed, or is there anything we can do to reprogram the inner child?
Absolutely. You can work on your inner child through, there's 1,001 ways to do it. The easiest way that I like to do for myself, a little exercise, is just to put the inner child in front of you, like sit it at a chair in front of you, and just talk to it heart to heart, like how you would talk to someone that you love. I mean, you're talking to yourself, essentially. And really busting through all the lies, like, okay, I know this happened, but look, this is the truth. Okay, I know that happened and it was painful, but look, here's the truth. So you can do an exercise like that. So that would be very helpful and very easy to do. You can do it yourself. And if you would like to, we can also work on the healing of this inner child. So what the healing does, it's just to help you neutralize some of the energy, because sometimes what makes us stuck with a picture or a pain is the energy. The picture itself could be neutral, but because we put so much emotion in it, then it becomes painful. And when it's painful, then it's hard for us to move it up because we're stuck with the emotion, right? So the healing can help to reduce or neutralize that pain and emotion. And then when you're ready, you can relook at that album pictures of whatever stuff that you went through, but look at it from a neutral point of view, and you in present time, being an adult, and then you can decide what to do with that. I think that will be easier because you're looking at it at a neutral point of view, not from pain. If you would like, we can do that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm watching you release and processing all the shame that we spoke about earlier, the purple energy in your second chakra. One of the energy that I'm watching and seeing is this resistance to, like, if I release this, will I be betraying my family? So there's a sense of loyalty that kept you in this, you kept that picture and that energy out of a sense of loyalty. So there's that, just pointing it out. So I see that one of the growth period that you're in is realizing what is your truth and what is your family's truth, and where you can match or unmatch from them, and have that be equally right. Like, they can have their truth and you can have your truth, and both of you are, living your truth, and that's okay, even though the truth for you might look different from the truth of what they look like. Both can be okay. So I see that's where you're at the moment. Just really sorting through all the family stuff and figuring out where are you and where's the family, and separation. Where do you need to separate? Where do you need to unmatch? And which ones are you still in alignment with and you're okay to match that? So it's all of that. And there's a lot of programming around like how you have to be loyal, there's a lot of that it's a very strong programming, which is, in some ways a good thing because it makes you who you are today. So I'm watching you release more of this purple, the shame, the punishment. And I'm also watching you some of the energy that flows from the second to the fifth and how that connects so that in the event that you need to express yourself, this doesn't become an issue. Because I see that usually when you want to express yourself, then this kicks in, the purple kicks in, then you stop yourself. So I'm watching you working through that. There's a little bit of dark brown energy around here in the middle. And now I'm moving on to the second part of the healing, and that's the part where if you need to express yourself and let that be safe. I'm going to first work on your fifth, your throat, your communication space. There's a lot of like this white, woolly looking energy that it's like stuck here. That's all the energy that piled up with each time you you hold yourself back, a little get formed, and then you hold yourself, more gets formed. So now it looks like this woolly, cottony looking ball of energy that is stuck here. And I'm also watching you release from your male energy. Some part of this male energy gets stuck when you try to run your male energy. It gets stuck from all those early childhood pictures that we spoke about just now. So I'm watching you release some of these energies, and by doing so, I see that it helps you have more permission to run your male energy without the fear of all those things that we talk about. I see that by releasing this male energy, the energy that was holding you back from running your male energy, it will help you with a lot of things. It will help you to create with more ease. It will help you to have your male presence and sovereignty, like it's more stronger. I don't know how to put it into words, but it's more like a feeling. It will help you with all of that. And most definitely, it is also make you feel safe to express yourself when you run that male energy. And it's not so much about being male, but it's more of having this feeling safe because you are owning your space. It's like a king in his kingdom, like you can do whatever you want because it's your kingdom and you're the king. So it will be easier for you to do things and to say things because you own it. I hope that's making sense. In terms of you mentioned about the programming, at this current moment, I don't see the need to do a deprogramming yet. I think for now, it's enough for us to work on these things that we just worked on, and then for you to really look at the pictures. I see that once you've busted through the lies and you know your own truth more and be able to stand in your own truth more, the rest is easy. You already know you're more than capable to deprogram and rewire yourself. I think you already have the tools for that. It's a matter of like knowing what to work on and what to do, like where to bring it to, what do you rewire it to, which I think you already do know. So I don't see that you need my help with that part.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Is there anything that you feel that, because sometimes I have a feeling that I don't want to be judged in a wrong way. So is there anything that we can do about it, or is there the same cause that actually comes from the same?
Yes, it's the shame and the punishment, like, oh, you do that, no, that's shameful, and no, and then the punishment comes. And punishment, like not necessarily like a physical punishment, but it's more of an internal self-beating and making yourself feel bad, or etc. It's the same trigger that I see. And what would really help with that is to really, let's see what could help. I see that once you have worked through the energy and released and understand the truth about the shame and the punishment, then the criticism or the judgment is no longer a big issue, because it's more like, okay, but it doesn't kick you and it doesn't hurt you like how it did before, because you already know your truth. So people can say whatever they want to say, but if you already know the truth, then it doesn't matter.
Okay. So normally when my inner circle or the people that really close to me or my partners, my working partners say things that maybe potentially I could feel being judged, that's when it is very impactful for me.
Yeah.
But when other people who are not very close to me, I don't really think of it.
Yeah.
So is it normal or
It's the self-punishment again. So it's actually a couple of things. I see one, it's that same loop of the self-punishment that you run. So when somebody close to you said it and you're like, they're right, it should not be like that. And then you go into this self-thrashing mode and then it becomes painful. Oh no, and then it becomes painful. Oh, I'm not good enough or whatever the words that you use to self-inflict pain on yourself. So that's one thing. And the second thing is also related to the other issue where you fear the loss of connection, the loss of love, the loss of the relationship by being you and standing in your own truth. So that's where the pain comes from. There's a fear that if I'm not like them, if I don't behave how they expect me to behave, then they might not love me or they might not want to be my friend or they might, cut off the relationship, whatever it may be. That's the part that becomes scary to you, that lost. So it's all part of the whole same thing.
So what are your suggestions in my daily practical things that I can do to really improve myself in that area?
Well, you're already doing it by having the awareness and doing this reading session right now and working on the healing. You're already doing it. And you will see that once you really, I think right now, your spirit is working on these things, but your body and your mind is still a little bit catching up. So it's still not sure what's going on. One, it all catches up and then you re-listen to this, it will all make sense. Once you've healed that part of you that we talked about that needs to be healed and you discover your truth and you stand in your truth, then all this will no longer be an issue. It automatically just dissolves because you've already healed the part of you that needed to be healed and you're already doing it right now.
Okay. So other than that problem that I mentioned earlier, is there any blind spot that I need to work on or something that I didn't notice that is actually could be the better version of myself?
Yes. So when you said the blind spot, one thing that showed up, I don't know if this makes sense. So the picture or the image that you showed me is you have a blind spot at the back here, and that blind spot becomes a spot where energy can come in. And then when that energy comes in, it comes in through your fifth, so your communication space, and that's when you have doubts, self-doubt, or you start to waver, like you're not sure. So that's the one thing that showed up when you asked. So my hello is you pay a lot of attention to the front of you because you're facing the front. And because you face the front, the back is not guarded as well, if that makes sense. So if it's like a house, you have a CCTV at the front gate, you also have a CCTV at the back gate, So it's something like that. So it's having more awareness at what's behind you, as well as paying attention to what's in front of you, I would say is the hello for you. And then when energy hits you and you start to like, oh, I'm not so sure about this, know that it's coming from the back. So if you're busy looking at the front, you won't see it.
Okay, great.
Thank you for sharing this sacred pause with me today. If something in this episode stirred your heart or softened your edges, I'd love for you to subscribe, like, and share with someone you love, and leave a kind review. It helps this soul space reach those who need it most. Until next time, may you trust your inner voice, nourish your spirit, and treat yourself to something sweet.